everybody, welcome back to the channel and more Blood and Plunder here for you as we continue on with the pirate sub-factions here. Today we're taking a look at sort of what I would call the main one, right, is because as far as timeline goes, this is operating or representing the biggest amount of time compared to the other lists that we get here. So 1700 to roughly 1730, which is really like the gist of this expansion book, right? We're now looking at everything from Raise the Black guys. So this is sort of like the main pirate list if you don't want to necessarily be specialized after like a special character or a little bit more restricted in what the Flying Gang did or does as far as the game goes. Check out our video on those other factions as well. But let's jump in. We have everything here. We have 4 special rules, huge selection of units. We get command options and force options. So again, we're spoiled for choices with the pirate faction. So and obviously, if you like pirates, this is, again, the set of factions that are going to be for you. So on the force special rules, if the force is the defender in a scenario, usually we're looking to be aggressors, right? But if we're the defenders, we roll a d10 on a 7-up. We begin the game with the drunk scenario special rule, which is on page 143 in the Blood and Plunder rulebook. Again, a little bit of a downer there, right? We don't necessarily want to start drunk, but hopefully we can fail the roll. Now, if this force is the attacker in an amphibious or sea scenario, again, kind of like Blackbeard's list, we can also roll a d10 at the start of each turn. On a 7-up, the ruse is discovered and has no effect, so no more rolls, but otherwise, basically nobody can attack us unless we attack them first or they move within 12 inches of an enemy unit. So it's very thematic, very fun, colorful rule there. Basically, we can hope to get close to an enemy and then sort of unleash hell on them and then look to grapple and board and all that. Again, the pirates aren't necessarily going to be the sort of like long-range snipers of the game, right? So their thing is, right, we want to get close, blow things up, and board and just get into combat and take over the enemy ships, right? Finally, if we are the attacker in the scenario, so we got a lot of stuff going on here, but once per game, we can discard all the activation cards in the hand, replace them with the same number without spending a fortune point. So far, a theme amongst the pirate factions, right? Everyone's got that, the Flying Gang, Blackbeard's Men, and these guys as well. So very useful, right? If you think about other ways that we would normally acquire an extra fortune point, usually off of a very heftily costed special character. So here we get a sort of limited extra fortune point where we can use that particular version of it to just restock our hand with maybe a better hand, whether we're looking for just more activations overall, or sorry, not activations, actions, or just a better turn order if we need that. Just, you know, whatever we need, right? We get another crack at that without having to spend an actual fortune point, so that lets us preserve the other uses of the fortune point, or we can just maybe even use this one and then use it again throughout the game. We have essentially that fourth fortune point for most purposes here. So getting on to the selection of units, well, we have a just absolutely giant selection here. So what that really means is we're kind of getting to just kind of pick and choose across basically just about every nationality and really just take some of the prime units that they have here. Mostly, again, lots geared around sailors and stuff like that, but we have huge choices here. So really should be no reason why we can't field the exact kind of list that we want, but also just a theme here with all these choices compared to the other like factions, which sometimes have very restrictive choices on units. We really can play a different list every time, even just within the same sub-faction, right? We could really explore different themes and like strategies and tactics and stuff just with all these different choices that we have access to. But real briefly here, we got pirates, we got sea dogs, marines, marineros, and Zayleiden and roundsmen. So just off of that, that's a pretty good faction choice or set of choices there for just core units, right? We could build a list with that. But we get even more support units. We got the unaligned European sailors. We got Native American musketeers, warrior musketeers. We got African warriors if we want that. Unaligned ones. We got later flibustiers from the French. So if we want some nice sort of long-range shooters. Jamaican privateers, English, and then also pressed men as unaligned. So again, huge amount of choices. We can do just about anything that we want there. Also spoiled for command choices. Of course, we can take the standard pirates. Interestingly, we could even take Blackbeard in here if we don't want to run Blackbeard specific list. Charles Vane, Stede Bonnet, Calico Jack, Olivier Labousse, Levasseur, Black Bart, right? Basically all the named ones are here. Bellamy, Black Caesar, and it goes on, right? So more or less all the named pirates are here, plus the generics. So just from that set of variables there, plus everything we can do there, again, this list could look different. You could have like a dozen different players with the same faction here, but every list could be drastically different in how they perform. So really, again, as a player and a collector and hobbyist, right, you have so many choices in this list, so you really shouldn't tire from playing this faction just because you could swap out the commanders and see how that changes the faction and what that would do for your unit selection and all that. Lots and lots of choices to make here, but also makes it tough for the opponent to really know what you're bringing, right? You could say, yeah, well, I'm just bringing pirates. Well, that could mean a lot of different things, especially, or even if you said, well, I'm going to try out the Golden Age pirates. They really won't necessarily know what you're bringing because you have so many damn choices. Finally, force options. Just like we saw with the flying gang, here we have the grape shot option. So all the cannons can have grape shot, which again is going to make them a little bit more shorter range, but devastating if we can get that lined up on a unit that's close and really just wreck an opposing unit if it connects. That being said, though, if we choose grape shot and it's free, so that's a good consideration. But if it's free, we're not able to switch weapon choices or ammo choices, we should say, at any point in the game. So if we're going grape shot, it's grape shot for the duration of the game, not able to switch. So now, if you're able to maybe commandeer an enemy cannon, that could be interesting too. But yeah, you have to abide by the grape shot there. So all in all, a super faction, guys. Very exciting options here. Let us know what your favorite combination of units and command choices are for this. Have you run the Golden Age Pirates? How many different versions have you really tried out? I'd be hard pressed to see, I think, if someone's really run every last little variation of this, but maybe someone has. Or if you've run up against it, what set of problems did the opponent present for you with what they brought? Let us know in the comments, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.